So today I want to talk about defining some terms. We use a lot of terms here in healthcare, from the healthcare side, from the clinical side, from the treating the patient side. And these words are important to define. Then we go into this business side and we don't stress the definition of the terms as much. And in this world of helping healthcare practices be more successful, I see these words growth and I see the word scalability used frequently. And like so many things in healthcare, I see them used interchangeably, and they're not interchangeable. And so I think it's really important, if we're going to talk about growth and or scalability, to understand the definition so that you understand, because I believe in order for you to have a successful business, in order for you to have a successful healthcare practice, you must understand all the terms, just like the definitions of the metrics and right, reimbursement versus payment versus cost versus price, right? All these things are very, very important to the everyday running of the business, because, by the way, if you want to grow and scale a company, you must understand all these definitions. So that's where today's talk comes from, is defining these terms. I think it's really important. I see it more and more, and I got to be honest, I don't know why. Obviously, it's my little world, but I see more and more marketing stuff showing up in my feed every day. Facebook, everywhere, Instagram, all this paid content on more marketing. I think you all know my opinions about marketing. My opinions about marketing is very important, and is a key component to a successful healthcare practice, but it's not the only thing. And marketing does not cure all. But for some reason, man, we all believe more marketing will cure just about anything, right? And so I want to be careful about what we're looking at, what we're reading, and what solutions we believe we are engaging in as healthcare practice owners. So this term, growth and scalability, I see it being used across, it's funny, I see it being used in the marketing world more than I see it being used in the business consulting and coaching world. And it fits perfectly in the business coaching and consulting world. And I think business coaches and consultants sit on that word and use it when it's appropriate. But for some reason, it's getting embraced in other areas, and people are promising growth, they're promising scalability. And when I look at what the deliverable is below that, there's definitely a confusion of terms. I would argue that any great marketing company, any great marketing group can help with both growth and scalability, yet they are not all doing that. And I would argue that any good marketing company knows the difference between growth and scalability. And so if they're promising one or the other, they're actually delivering on it. So you, the consumer, right, need to be aware of the proper questions to ask and the proper awareness you bring to this conversation. So I've got the definitions pulled up here. I'm actually going to read you the definitions of growth and then scalability. And I think after that, we're going to be about done, right? Believe it or not, my friends, if you search the word scalability, right, it's got a lot of context. So you have to actually look for business scalability. Definition pops up pretty quickly, and I believe a pretty clear definition. I then searched the word growth, which exploded. I then typed in business growth, and I was like, where's the definition? So, I mean, my gut reaction was, yeah, growth is easy to define. And it was actually more difficult to find a straightforward, easy to discuss definition than it was actually scalability. And here's the important thing, again, I just mentioned, we got to understand the context of business growth and business scalability, because scalability and growth have context across many other definitions, okay? So let's make sure we keep them in context of business growth and business scalability. So I read through a few. It's not that none of them, that they're all wrong, except for the one I chose. As in the context of the discussion we're having here, I want to give you two definitions. One of them, plain and simple, is business growth, means an increase in the size or scale of operations of a firm, usually accompanied by increase in its resources and output. Now, I would argue that definition implies scale also. If we increase operations, we're actually scaling the company. So, you know, it's interesting because, again, this definition, if we, scale was in there. If we increase in the size or scale of operations, right? So if we take that out and just says business growth means an increase in the size of a firm, usually accompanied by increase in its resources and outputs. Easy enough. Healthcare, more new patients. More new patients into your practice, into your healthcare practice, increases the output, right? Whatever that is, revenue, right? Visits, billing, right? Whatever it is. It increases that output and it increases in its resources, right? Right now you have to increase your time, money, and energy in getting the deliverables delivered to get the output you want to achieve, right? So I want to reread that definition without the term scale in it, because I want to keep these separate. And this term, and I get it, right? The context of these definitions are all over the place. So we have to be pretty straightforward here. Business growth means an increase in the size of a firm, usually accompanied by an increase in its resources and output. An increase in its resources, again, starts to cross this line to scalability, because that means you may have to hire people. You may have to do more of something, okay? So I look at growth as an increase in healthcare. I look at it as an increase in leads. That leads to an increase, again, in the output. Because a lot of people go through these waves of growth where they can accommodate it with their current resources. You guys know this. This is the bulk of healthcare practices, right? They have an increase for a month or two, and their current team, their current structure, their current systems all accommodate that growth, and then they come back down a little bit. And there are this constant waxing and waning, this constant period of, hey, we're growing, to a constant, hey, we got less people this month. And we've seen these businesses that just float like that with the same number of staff, give or take one person, right? With basically the revenue fluctuating maybe 10, 20, 30, $40,000 a month, right? At any given time. But really it all comes back year over year to the same outputs. That's not growth, right? That's not scalability either. That's just a business moving along, delivering the same output, right? Because remember, growth is an increase in output. Let me look at this other definition I got here for growth real quick. Oh yeah, you know what? I do like this in context of what I just said. Business growth is a stage where the business reaches the point for expansion. So now we're getting to, right? We're hitting a red line with our current resources, with our current staff, with our current software, with our current physical space, with our current capacity. We are now hitting the point of expansion. I like this definition together with the context of the other one. So growth has nothing to do, just bear with me on this, with scaling. Again, because the example I gave you where it has to do with an increase in output, right? And then, so when we say we have growth, is it growth month over month, which is a straight upward line, or is it growth periodically, which we accommodate, we redline for a bit, and then it comes back down? So we don't hire, we don't invest in our infrastructure or software or anything else, rightfully so. No judgment here, it's just, right? So that's not growth, that's maintaining. When we get to the point and there's a need for an expansion, that's where we get growth. That's where we then need scalability. So let's go here. The definition of scalability to me is a lot more straightforward. Straight up definition of scalability, right, without the word business in it, is the capacity to be changed in size or scale. And so what is a scalable business, right? For businesses to be scalable, it must focus on improving the profitability and efficiency of services when the workload increases. The only way you can increase the efficiency of the services when the workload increases is to have what? Systems in place that can scale with you. Hiring systems, sales systems, retention systems, right? By the way, automation systems, right? Scheduling software, right? All that stuff must have the ability to accommodate more of what you're doing. Now, you and I know people in the delivery of the service pretty much has a hard stop. So the scalability there is your hiring process and finding the right people. And then there's scalability again in your EMR and your billing, all these other things. Can they accommodate more input? Most of them can, right? Your sales system. So let's get to the stuff I like, right? Your sales system, is it scalable? So is the training, right? Is the hiring process for more salespeople scalable? Because again, you're going to hit a roof on how much input they can manage to start the flow for the larger output, right? X amount of calls in or out, right? So the hiring for your sales team, the training for your sales team. And here's something about scalability. Is everybody trained the same after they are hired? Is everybody onboarded the same? That's scalability. Moving into a bigger space can be parts of scalability, but doesn't mean you're scaling. So this, right, growth leads to the need for scalability. Scalability gives you the ability to grow. So with that definition right there, with that statement, right, we should be working on scalability even before we have the growth. If you're looking at marketing companies and are promising growth, then they're promising basically more leads. If they're promising scalability, then they should be giving you the systems to accommodate the growth, right? So it's kind of, especially with the marketing side, it's this virtuous cycle, right? They should be delivering the growth, but they should be delivering the systems to accommodate the growth, at least in the marketing side. Here's the problem with marketing companies that promise scalability. If you don't know what the fuck to do with those leads, if you don't have a sales process in place to manage the leads, which is the next step, then it's going to be very hard for a marketing company to deliver scalability. They're going to deliver you. And here's something you need to understand about each of these steps, right? Marketing, sales, retention. Marketing's job is to deliver the leads and the systems around that. The scalability with marketing is just, can we continue to increase all this marketing, right? Can we continue to increase this to drive more leads into the system? The next step is your sales system. So unless the marketing company is building out your sales system, they can't promise you, they can promise you scalability in marketing, meaning you can do more marketing, but what are you going to do with it? By the way, I'm dealing with multiple clients right now. By the way, here's a great example of this. I'm dealing with multiple clients right now where their marketing companies, the people they're engaging for marketing, are delivering on more leads. They have a backlog of leads like I've never seen in my life. I'm talking into the hundreds. So the marketing company is delivering the leads, and then they get to this sales right? Boom. Yet the sales process isn't built out. The sales process isn't built out, and it's not scalable. To what? Deliver the output. What's the output? To me, it's a completed plan of care. The whole system is built around completed plans of care. So if you can't move someone from a lead, from the marketing attraction phase in your business to this sales phase of your business, your fucking output's dead in the water. And then I see a lot of those people blaming the marketing company. I also see a lot of those people spinning in a circle, spending time, money, and energy, following up on old leads. Eventually, they're going to blame the marketing company for not delivering. I'm going to be like, no, they're so good, you weren't ready for it. Growth, scalability. So before you sign up with some marketing group to help you grow your company, you better make sure you have the systems in place to deliver the output that you so desire for one person, right? So again, this is why, back to the statement, the scalability should always be at the forefront of what you're doing, even before the growth. Everybody's doing it backwards. More marketing, more marketing, more marketing, right? This is my leaky bucket analogy. Fill the bucket up faster, and then the bucket's just overflowing. Maybe it's not even a leaky bucket. It's just overflowing with leads. People are falling out, right? If you're getting leads through Facebook and Google and you don't follow up with them within like 5 days, they're probably dead in the water. Having a system in place to manage your leads is part of the scalability. Really, having a system in place to manage those leads is a sales process in sales system. If you just got people coming into your system backing up, you have no sales process. If you allow people to come into your system and allow them to back up, it's 100% on you. So yes, I want you to be a little uncomfortable here. Yes, I want to talk to people who want to scale a business, right? Scale a business means I want it to get bigger and be able to accommodate the growth that I'm going to bring into it. Yeah, these are really interwoven, and we can probably start the conversation from either side. But for this one, it's about scalability. It's the systems, it's the process, right? Do you understand the flow of the business, marketing to sales to retention to referral? Do you understand how they feed back on each other? What is this desired output you want? People are like, I want people scheduled. I'm like, that can't be a desired output. What the fuck, man? Right? Most of these people are dying at the lead, right? Because they're not even calling people back. I'm like, right? If the desired output is a completed plan of care, you got to reverse engineer the fuck out of that. That's scalability. Every single touch point. By the way, don't get me wrong. This isn't all people related, right? We can build in automations, right, on this. And so we want to build in the automations to create the efficiencies, right? That was in the definition, to create the efficiencies so that we can follow up with all the leads. By the way, you make a call to a lead, don't answer, make a call to a lead, they don't answer, they go into a nurture system. That's automated. That sends emails, that sends texts, it tells a person to call them. That's automation. That's scalability. Automation is scalability. Automation will bring you scalability, bring you the ability to manage the leads, 1 or 1,000. May need to hire an extra person here and there, but you've got the scalability in there. The systems, the processes is the scalability, the hiring systems and processes, right? All this. So don't confuse growth and scalability, my friends. That's the big takeaway from today. So I appreciate your time. Appreciate you listening to this. Growth versus sounds like opposite, but I want to say versus because growth versus scalability. It's not growth scale, right? It's not one word. It's like that marketing and sales thing. I've done some posts here on marketing and sales. They're not the same. Marketing is not sales. Sales is not marketing. Growth is not scalability. Scalability is not growth. They both need to be looked at individually, right? And this flow of your business is what you must get in place. Because the flow of your business is how you manage one person. And if you build it properly with this scalability, the flow of your business is how you manage one person or 1,000 persons from the top of the funnel all the way to a completed plan of care. You can accommodate the growth. Cool. Love this. Appreciate your time. Cheers up.